I was doing, over the years, I've done a great many interviews for magazines like Good Housekeeping, Ladies Home Journal. Remember when magazines were very big and they had movie star interviews in them, and I would often do them. And I interviewed Jimmy Stewart,
Wow.
whom I'd known all my life. And so I called him and I asked if I could ask him these questions that they wanted me to ask him. And he said, "Oh, great, come on over for lunch." I grew up in Beverly Hills. At the time, my parents were still living and they lived there. So I went over for lunch. And as we were having lunch, every now and then he'd look at his watch. And I was very, I had a tape recorder. I was recording everything. I said, "Jimmy, if I'm overstaying my welcome, just tell me." He said, "No, no, no. I just have to be outside at 2:15." I said, "Okay." He said, "But you can come with me." So sure enough, about 2:10, he walked outside into his driveway where his old Volvo was parked. This is in Beverly Hills. And sure enough, at 2:15, one of those tour buses came by. Now, if you've ever been in Hollywood or Beverly Hills, there are tour buses that take you
Sure.
around to the movie stars' homes.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was many years ago because Jimmy was still alive then.
Right. Right.
And the tour bus stopped. The driver waved at him. He waved back. Everybody got out of the bus. It was before the era of cell phones. Everybody had their little cameras, though. Jimmy posed with everybody. He signed autographs. The whole thing took about 15, 20 minutes. And then all of the tourists got back on the bus and they tootled on their merry way. So we went back in the house and I said, "Jimmy, that was fantastic for you to do for your fans." He looked at me straight in the face. He said, "Susan, those are not just my fans. They're my partners. If they weren't interested in me, if they didn't want my picture or my autograph, I wouldn't have this house. I wouldn't live this life in Beverly Hills. They're my partners, and I'm very grateful to them."